In 2020, can we agree to stop with the dualism, virtual, in real life? As I write this, the world is in the midst of a pandemic, and my community has asked that everyone who can stay home and physically isolate themselves do so, for the protection of those who are most at risk from this disease. And which disease it is doesn't even much matter, there will be another. As a result, the religious communities in my area have closed their physical facilities. The grace with which they are handling that situation varies, shall we say. Hat tip to my Jewish and Muslim colleagues who were first to close for the sake of others. Some in my own religious tradition have gone so far as to declare they will never close their physical building and never cancel worship. What is real, really? The ironic thing about this is none of us has cancelled our worship services. With my local synagogue and Muslim center, we have moved our worship online, and into people's homes. Maybe it's a generation gap, or a cultural gap, but there is a fixed feeling that online is not real and that only physical gatherings are real. This isn't new. As the internet grew and those of us who do our spiritual leadership work there began to talk about that work, the question invariably became, yes, but you're meeting people online so they'll come to church, right? And I would smile tiredly, and say, no, I am meeting people where they are because the divine is already there with them. And the confused blinks began and the stammering, and invariably someone would splutter, but that's not real. Our language hasn't helped. We've talked about IRL, in real life, and the internet got called virtual, deaf, almost or nearly as described, but not completely or according to strict definition, early on. And all this encouraged us to think about what happened online as not quite real. Where do you stop? Of course, the idea that what happens online isn't real fails because all the people involved are just as real as they are in the physical world. And I don't want to hear the argument about how you can portray yourself as anyone online, because plenty of people do that offline as well, living their whole lives behind masks for one reason or another, never showing the world their true self. You don't stop being real because you've sat down at your computer and logged onto Facebook, or YouTube, or an online game. And the other people behind those avatars and comments are just as real as you, every last one of them. Well, except for the bots, but that is another matter entirely. My community, and many others of all religious traditions, will meet online this weekend for our worship. We will be just as real sitting in our living rooms with our coffee mugs, gathered around our glowing computer screens. The words we read will be just as sacred. Perhaps more so, because we have made the choice to disrupt our own lives to protect the lives of others. And this is the highest calling of all people. This is what mature humans do. We care for our fellow humans, especially those we have never met and never will and do not know. Because people we cannot see are real. People we will never hug, or hold hands with, or break bread with. Real.